It looks like a pretty amazing week coming up from what I can see here in the pick a card reading, and yeah, so keep watching if you want to know what's coming up for you this week. Hi and welcome back. So I'm a little bit perspiry because I've just been for a big walk, but welcome back for another Pick a Card Tarot for the week. So hopefully by now you've picked your row 1, 2 or 3 where I've posted the picture on YouTube and social media so that people can go with which row they feel comfortable with. If not, please do so now. Yeah, I've got images on Facebook and YouTube for that of the backs of the cards so you can choose it while they are blank. So as we head into this coming week, we've just had a pretty intense full moon, which was also on the equinox, and here in New Zealand that's the autumn equinox. In the northern hemisphere it'll be the spring equinox. But yeah, quite a powerful time. Quite a lot of people have felt a little bit sort of edgy, but that should be starting to calm down again now. So for row 1, as we head into this week, we've got the World right at the start, which is pretty amazing. So that's, yeah, saying that, you know, you've been doing things really well. So have faith in yourself. You're heading in a good direction. Your relationships, career, all of those things seem to be in a good balance. So you can be proud of yourself and give yourself a pat on the shoulder. It's a very, very balanced time. And also by midweek it's indicating a bit of sort of letting go, a bit of freedom, taking your time, relaxing. So midweek we've got the Four of Wands. So that's showing us that it's time to enjoy a bit of freedom. You know, you've earned it, you've worked for it. Take some time out, relax. It's not about actively doing, it's about relaxing a bit this week and not pushing too hard. I mean, if you've got to go to work, you've got to go to work, but that doesn't mean you have to slog yourself half to death there. Same at home. Don't overdo that, keeping everything perfect. Relax, enjoy this time. It looks like a very, very good week. So with the World and the Four of Wands together, it's kind of looking at a really harmonious time. So the first half of the week looks very, very harmonious, very at ease, very abundant. Yeah, you should be feeling pretty good about yourself for the first half of the week. It looks pretty amazing. So by Friday, Saturday and Sunday we've got the Page of Swords. That's indicating being a bit careful before you rush into things, you know, giving it some thought, listening to your intuition. There's something holding you back a little bit from taking the next step or being cautious, and that can be in a love relationship where you're just not quite sure and you're just kind of taking your time, and that's not a bad idea. A lot of people now have instant relationships which don't always work out so good. It's good to take your time to really get to know a person, so don't ever feel bad about that. And if somebody's trying to rush you, that's not a good sign. So go at a pace that you're comfortable with. Also with big financial commitments and things like that, it's just a time to be a little bit careful and not rush things at the end of the week. But all in all, it looks very good. It looks like a very, very rewarding and nice week for row 1. So for row 2, for Monday and Tuesday, we've got the Eight of Wands, which is also a wonderful influence. We're looking at a sense of things moving ahead rapidly, so it's quite different to row 1. We're looking at things happening fast, so if you've been working towards something or trying to create something or make something happen, it'll happen really fast. It's also called the Arrows of Love, which means if there's chemistry around or a new relationship or even an old one, you're revamping, putting more energy into, things are going to happen quite quickly. So make sure it doesn't sort of spin out of control. Keep balance during that time. But whatever's going on in your life is going to be happening quite quickly, and there's not going to be too much mucking about, so to speak. So by Wednesday and Thursday we've got the Three of Wands, which is very much forward planning, looking at where you want to go, looking at your future, being organised, knowing what you're going for, and inner clarity about your goals and your dreams. So it's a very clear time of knowing what you want, knowing where you're going, knowing what you want to create in your life. So yeah, hang on a minute, I'm just gonna shut that bottom half of that door because that's been really blowing out the highlights on the video. Still doing it. Right, we'll try this again. That might be a bit better. I had so much light coming in from behind me, it always makes things a bit weird on video. So anyway, the Three of Wands, yes, it's about planning, about being clear, being very, very clear about what you're creating, what you're wanting. That can be in love, being very sure of what kind of relationship you want or where you want your relationship to go. And also about communicating that, talking about that, telling your partner what you would like. So yeah, very much a forward planning idea with business. It's an ideal time for new career moves and businesses midweek. So wonderful influence. Interestingly, Friday, Saturday and Sunday we've got the Seven of Swords, which is also a cautious influence, which row one also had a cautious kind of caution there at the end of the week. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday we've got this sense of keeping out of conflict, making sure to avoid drama, not buying into other people's dramas, being cautious what you get yourself involved in, wanting to keep the peace and not wanting to fight or argue or struggle. So yeah, there's a little bit of holding back there, which sometimes is a wise thing to do, but don't do it to your own detriment where you're putting up with bad treatment and just not saying anything. Sometimes we do need to say something, so keep that in balance. But in general, it's not a good time to enter into any kind of conflict. So if you've got something to get off your chest this weekend, if you're going to do it cautiously, be calm, and it'll come across well. If you sort of rush into it or get a bit too wound up, it could all go a bit wrong. So yeah, but it is a time of sort of pulling back, a little bit of self-protection and things like that over the weekend, which you may need. It's been a very busy week by the looks of it for row two. So by the weekend you might just sort of need to spend some time just protecting yourself and taking care of your energy and practicing some self-care, and also in relationships maybe, yeah, just watching out that you don't get on each other's nerves or upset each other too much this weekend. Just a caution. It's not saying that's definitely going to happen. It's more of a caution saying it could. Okay, so for row three we've got the Hermit, and the Hermit starts the week on Monday and Tuesday by just looking within, which is quite different to the other two. There's a little bit of time of self-reflection, of trusting your own wisdom, trusting your own answers. You don't need to be running around asking too many people for input on your decisions. You can actually do this, trust your feelings. You're going to make some sound and good decisions from what I can see here in the whole flow of the reading. So spend a little bit of time just going within and see what feels right to you. You know, it's one of the things I've noticed in all the years that I've been doing readings with people. Often I'll talk, and during a face-to-face reading I basically do my bit and then they can ask questions, and often they say to me, deep down I knew that, which most people do deep down. Sometimes it's nice to have somebody confirm that back to you, which gives you, you know, more confidence to go with that. But generally we all have a very strong inner voice and do know what we need to do. So there's some decisions there. You're spending a bit of time mulling over them. By Wednesday and Thursday we've got the Ace of Pentacles, which is all about opportunity, big opportunities. So yeah, whatever decision you've been mulling over earlier in the week, you're going to make a really good move with that, a really good decision, and it's going to work for you and it's going to pay off. And So whether that's in relationship, that could indicate that you make a good decision about that. You know, if you've been seeing somebody who's not really kind of there, or you've seen something's off, yeah, making a decision about that can be empowering. If you feel like it's time for the next step, the two of you may commit to doing something together, like, you know, spending more time together, taking on a project together, finding housing together, things like that. So there's decisions around that as well. In a sense of work, career, it's more about making decisions that are, you know, good for you in the long term, long range decisions that are really going to pay off. So you might start that business you've been thinking about and it's saying yes, do, it'll work for you. Or look at a new option with your career, ask for a promotion or something like that. Good time for all of those things. So by Friday, Saturday and Sunday we've got the King of Wands, and I think that came up last week or the week before. It's about taking responsibility and that you're being given responsibility and you're not somebody who wants to have all that responsibility necessarily. You know, you like being part of a team. You don't want to have it all handed to you, and that's actually a good thing. It means you're actually a good leader, a natural leader, rather than somebody who comes from ego and, you know, just feeling, you know, on a power trip. So, yeah, it is like that the responsibilities, that's actually something you can handle and you can do it well, but don't take on more than you can handle. Know your limits, know when to say no. You don't have to do everything. Delegating is also a good thing, especially at work and also at home. You know, if you're at home and you work and you've got kids and a family, it might be a really good time to share the load a bit more. Like sit down with your partner and say, hey, look, we both work. At the end of the day, we need to split what needs to get done, dinner and stuff like that. And that can take a lot of load off one person. When my children were young, their dad and I owned a market garden. We grew vegetables for a living. And we'd always come in at the end of the day and it'd be like, oh, do you want to bath the kids or cook tea? You know, and yeah, one would do one would do the other, and it worked really well, but it was natural for us to be like that. So, you know, rather than having a grump at your partner, say, hey, how about we do that, and keep it in the positive, and it'll probably work a lot better. So, yeah, don't do it all by yourself, but you're very good at taking responsibility, and you may be given more responsibility this weekend on Friday, especially for work, career, business, things like that. There's some opportunities there this week, and if you take them on, it will be a little bit more work, but it'll definitely pay off really well in the long term. So yeah, all three rows have amazing, amazing forecasts. It looks really, really great. I can't say that any of them look overly negative, which is a nice thing. We're just easing out of Mercury retrograde slowly. That finishes on the 28th, I think. And we've just had that very strong super moon, full moon, and an equinox, and so many energetic things going on. It's nice to see that we're having a nice stable week. So if you've got any comments to make about any of this, please put them in the column below, in the YouTube comments actually, because I tend to check in on them more than I do where I share it on Facebook and things like that. And I hope you enjoy my video. Lots of love, and I'll see you next time.